Good morning, all participants. Sorry, good afternoon, all participants.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. We are going to start our two-day national level workshop with the permission of our principal madam. I am now on air. First of all, I request all participants to keep their video off and to keep their microphone in mute mode. Good afternoon, all respected participants. This is the two-day national level workshop on art of academic writing. Myself is Dr. Sudipto Ghosh. On behalf of Maharani Kasiswari College Research Cell, I welcome you all. Today is the first day, that is 29th August of first day, and tomorrow we have the second session. Our college is located in Kolkata. It is in West Bengal, India. And our college is affiliated to University of Calcutta. So I welcome again all of you. Please keep your video off and keep your microphone in mute mode. We will start a while. Please be with us. Thank you all.
A very good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Audible.
Yes.
A very good afternoon, everyone. I am Sriyatapa Das, Assistant Professor in the Department of Food and Nutrition and the Joint Convener of the Research Cell of Maharani Kasiswari College. Welcome you all for this two-day national level workshop on Art of Academic Writing, organized by Research Cell in association with the IQAC of Maharani Kasiswari College, affiliated to University of Calcutta, Kolkata, India. I welcome all the participants all over the country and abroad as well. Thanks a lot for your huge and overwhelming responses. Doing research and then getting the research outcome published is the ultimate goal of every researcher. To get published in a good journal not only depends on the quality of the research work, but also it depends on how the article is written, so that the journal will accept it. Hence, writing a good research article effectively is definitely an art to be learned. Here, keeping this theme of this workshop, the art of academic writing is justified. In the two-day national level workshop on academic writing, we are fortunate to have with us the eminent speaker, Professor Amitabh Bandyopadhyay, Professor of Department of Chemical Engineering of University of Calcutta, Dr. Kulwant Singh, Assistant Professor in Department of Mechanical Engineering of Chandigarh University on 29th August, that is today, and Dr. Devobrata Devnath, Dean in the Faculty of Law, Education, Journalism, Library Science, and Physical Education of University of Bongo, West Bengal. On behalf of the research cell of MKC, I would like to welcome our chief patron and principal of Maharani Kasiswari College, Dr. Seema Chakraborty, whose expertise, guidance, and constant support have projected us for the materialization of this national workshop. I would also welcome the coordinator of the IQAC of Maharani Kasiswari College, Dr. Tapan Kumar Chand, Associate Professor in the Department of Education of MKC, and my co-colleague and joint convener of Research Cell, Dr. Sudipta Ghosh, Assistant Professor and HOD of Department of Commerce, MKC, and the whole research team for this workshop, and wishing for all for making this workshop a grand success. Hope this little initiative of our research cell will help you in enhancing the skill in academic writing to some extent, and will also encourage us for organizing such programs in upcoming days. Please join and stay with us for both of the days. Thanks a lot and best wishes for all. Now, I would request our principal madam and the chief patron of this national workshop for deliver his inaugural address. Over to ma'am. I would request madam to deliver your speech as the inaugural address.
Yes, am I audible? Hello? 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 I think the computer camera.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You are audible. You are audible.
But not visible, right? I am not visible, right?
No, not visible. Not visible.
Oh,
Madam, the camera has to come down a little further. The
Yes.
screen has to come down. Because we are seeing the ceiling.
yes.
Ma'am, a little bit more.
No, I think I should
No, ma'am, you're visible now. You're visible. Ma'am, you're
visible.
visible. Yes.
Yes. Good evening to all.
I'm সরে গেল আবার। I'm সরে গেছে আবার।
সরে যাচ্ছে। Yes. Okay, I think it is okay. Actually, these 2 evenings, today and tomorrow, have become special for all of us with the auspicious presence of our honorable guest speaker scientists. I would love to mention again their names. That is Professor Amitabh Bandyopadhyay from Chemical Engineering Department, Calcutta University, Dr. Kulwant Singh from Mechanical Engineering Department, Chandigarh University, Dr. Devobrata Devnath, the Departments of Law, Education, Journalism, Library Science, and Physical Education, Bongo University. We feel proud to have them with us for some time and express our gratitude to them as they manage time for us from their tight schedule of work. Maharani Kasiswari College heartily welcomes them, and I also congratulate the members of research cell and internal quality assurance cell of our institution for deciding subjects of talk, today's and tomorrow's talk, that are really relevant to research in any period of human civilization. We know writing is overall an art, a picturization by words. A well-written paper can express the theme and aim of any research work skillfully that a reader can enjoy a lot and can learn sometimes something from that. Also, a vividly and intelligently written research proposal helps judgment for selection of it by various funding agencies. We focus that these speeches.
Madam, sorry to interrupt you. Actually, echo, your voice is echoing too much. I think that there are two device active. So please keep one device in mute mode. You are in mute mode now, ma'am. You are in mute mode. So please turn on your mic. Your voice is not coming, ma'am.
I think Sudipta da, actually ma'am has joined from two device. I think that's create maybe problem.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. Madam, you are not audible.
Not audible?
Yeah. Now
Yes.
it is okay. It is appropriately okay. Now it is okay.
Okay, I should talk the rest part. I think I should say a vividly and intelligently written research proposal helps judgment for selection of it by various funding agencies. We focus that the speeches in this webinar will enlighten the issue of writing methods with beautification. The webinar is also going to focus on the ethical issues in publication under Indian regulatory regime. Plagiarism is nothing new.
Ma'am, again the voice is very low.
It is coming from ancient time, but now it is easier to be detected by modern technologies. I must express our happiness and proud to see the large number of participants from India and a number of countries worldwide like Philippines, Nigeria, Pakistan, Egypt, Somalia, Riyadh, Nepal, Morocco, Cyprus, Zambia, England, Taiwan, and Greece. I hope everyone will become enriched from a common platform of discussion. Our technical team is ready to arrange for everything and help everyone. Let us all enjoy the academic discussions to give utmost success to the gathering. And I finish here to provide more time to the speakers and to the listeners. Thank you all.
Thank you, madam, for your nice inaugural address. Now, I would request the coordinator of Internal Quality Assurance Cell, Dr. Tapan Kumar Chand, Associate Professor in the Department of Maharani Kasiswari College, to deliver the keynote address for this workshop. Over to Tapanda.
Thank you, Sujatapa. Am I audible?
Yes, Tapanda, you are audible, but please rotate your camera. Please rotate your camera.
Yes. Now it is okay?
The orientation
no.
of the camera. Do it vertically. Okay.
Okay. Now it's okay? Okay. Is it okay now? Am I visible? Suryatapa, am I visible?
Visible, but the rotation, you have to rotate the camera 90 degrees clockwise. It's okay now.
Okay. Thank you, Sujatapa. Respected Principal Madam, esteemed resource persons, participants from different corners of India and abroad, students, faculty members, and other dignitaries of this two-day national level workshop on art of academic writing. First of all, on behalf of the IQAC Maharani Kasiswari College, I welcome you all to the present workshop. Namaskar. Dear Sir and Madam, I feel pleasure in presenting the keynote on the present day.
Tapanda, your sound is not coming.
Tapan sir, your sound is not coming, maybe due to a technical problem. It is not coming, you are not audible. Please unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself.
Now it's audible. Hello.
Yes, Tapanda, you are audible.
A call comes inside, so it is disturbed. Sorry for the interruption. Dear Sir and Madam, I feel a pleasure in presenting the keynote on the present workshop. We all know the importance of research in higher education. Nowadays, it becomes an integral part of our academic journey. Academic writing also has got multiple benefits when it comes to building our academic profile. Also, it does have a direct impact on our career. If I have to list out, the following are the significant advantages of writing a research paper. It builds our academic profile. As an author, it increases our credibility. Our research works will receive more exposure. Most importantly, we will gain more insight into the subject, builds our professional connection with other researchers and authors, improves our writing and research skill. Writing and publication of research articles is also as important as carrying out the research. Dissemination of findings being as critical as the actual finding. The ability to write good research papers makes the publication process simpler, allowing for appropriate dissemination of the work in a timely manner. Publications are also critical for obtaining grants and for career progression for most academicians. Research paper writing can be challenging for some and easy for others. It is all about bringing the research findings in a manner that can be easily understood and accepted by the target audience. Good comprehension and writing skills will go as long as go a long way in bringing out the best highlights and take home message of a study. Keeping the importance of the research in our academic journey, we plan to include different topics related to it in our two-day workshop. Another very important issue which plays a pivotal role in academic writing is selection of journal for publication of our writing. How can authors evaluate the integrity of the history, and reputation of journals? There is no reliable list of good versus bad journals, nor is there an automated decision aid tool to use for identifying journals that are suitable for publication. Other potential journals include journals from publication that authors cite in their research, journals they review for, and journals associated with their professional organizations. Mentors and colleagues may also be able to provide insight as to which journals are regarded as relevant for an area of research or are recommended for tenure and promotion purposes. Consultation with mentors and colleagues can be especially important for early career authors and authors tackling a research topic outside their primary field. Digital technologies and new publishing models such as open access coupled with the democratization of the publishing worldwide has transformed the traditional print journals model for communication and dissemination of knowledge. In spite of the vast area of publishing opportunities in today's digital world that allow authors to reach a wider audience, authors face an unprecedented challenge when selecting a journal to publish their research paper. In light of the proliferation of journals, some journals have come under increased scrutiny recently with terms such as questionable, predatory, shadow, deceptive, unscrupulous, illegitimate, or dishonest used to describe these journals. Authors have a responsibility to evaluate the integrity, history, practices, and reputation of the journals to which they submit manuscripts. In this connection, I would like to mention few questions for authors to ensure the credibility of their research findings when publishing. How to adhere to the principles of research integrity and publication ethics, and how to identify journals that follow best practices promoted by professional scholarly publishing organizations, and how to avoid publishing in journals that do not have a clearly stated and rigorous peer review process, etc. Hope we will get the answer of these questions in this discussion in the discussion of, from our learned resource persons. Other key issues related to the field as included in our workshop is ethical issues in writing a publishing. I think we all have some ideas about plagiarism. Plagiarism is a significant violation of truthfulness and involves stealing intellectual property or taking credit for others' individuals' work. As anyone begins writing for publication, be careful to avoid plagiarism, which may not be a deliberate act but an oversight. Authors are ethically obligated to abide by the standard of good writing, which preclude plagiarism. The responsibility of plagiarism lies ultimately with the writer. Ethical integrity is essential to please mute. Ethical integrity is essential to writing and publication. Important ethical concerns to consider while writing a manuscript include etiquette, fraudulent publication, plagiarism, duplicate publication, authorship, and potential for conflict of interest. Strategies have been developed to prevent or detect ethical violations, and use of these strategies will enhance ethical integrity when preparing a manuscript for publication. Ethical issues for nurse author, fraudulent publication and plagiarism, etiquette and ethics, duplicate publication, authorship issues, potential conflict of interest, financial conflict of interest, etc. will be discussed to provide a clear understanding of the issue by our speaker in this workshop. Another very important topic we included in our 2 days workshop is writing the research proposal. The research proposal is able to give an overview of the research project so that other people understand the scope of the research. the significance of the research, as well as our proposed methodology and chosen research method. A project proposal is a document that describes a proposed project and its purpose, outcomes, and the steps that will be taken to complete the project. While the actual element of a project proposal differ depending on the project itself, there are several key elements of a project proposal, including project background, what problems, challenges, or opportunities exist that create a need for this project. Secondly, objectives. What are the intended outcome of this project? Project scope. What are the steps or stages of the project? What elements are included in this project? How will the objectives be reached through this project? And what methodologies are to be followed? And how do we develop skill for writing a research proposal, etc. are to be clarified by our resource person throughout their discussion and presentation. We also include an important topic in our two-day national workshop in different funding agencies in India. What is the role of a funding agency? Funding agencies are organizations that provide grants, scholarship, or other forms of support to programs, projects, and individuals in a specific area. Funding agencies may be non-profit organization, private foundation, or government offices. In India, various funding agencies are available which provide grants for research in various fields. These agencies conduct research schemes to promote the research in India in social sciences, pure science, and other medical stream, provide a grant for research. There are so many funding agencies in India about which we all come to know throughout the discussion and presentation by our learned speaker. Keeping the above facts in our mind, the research cell, in association with internal quality assurance cell of the college, took the initiative in holding the two-day national level workshop on art of academic writing in virtual mode. Our esteemed resource persons, Professor Amitabha Bandyopadhyay, Professor, Department of Chemical Engineering, University of Calcutta. So, namaskar. Dr. Debabrata Devnath, Dean, Faculty of Law, Education, Journalism, Library Science and Physical Education, University of Gaurbango. Sir, namaskar. And Dr. Kulwant Singh, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Chandigarh University, are with us. They will discuss and present their topics of discussion on different aspects of the key issues in touch with the theme of the present workshop. I hope the efforts of the research cell of Maharani Kasiswari College would be fruitful with cooperation from all participants, faculty members, and technical assistants altogether. I would like to extend my gratitude to all teachers, all members of Research Cell, and joint conveners of Research Cell, Dr. Sudipta Ghosh, Assistant Professor and Head Department of Commerce, Maharani Kasiswari College, and Suryatapa Das, Assistant Professor, Department of Food and Nutrition, Maharani Kasiswari College, for their tireless initiatives to organize this type of workshop. I am hopeful and wishing a great success of this workshop. Thanks to all of you. Namaskar.
Thank you, Tapunda. Now, it is the time to start the first session of today's workshop. I would request Dr. Shanti Bhomik, Assistant Professor of the Department of Education of Maharani Kasiswari College, to introduce today's first speaker, Professor Amitabha Bandyopadhyay. Over to Shanti.
Thank you, Shurjatappa. Before I start, I would request all participants to keep their mics muted because it is extremely disturbing to have voices at the back of the discussion. Thank you so much. We are indeed very honored to have as our first speaker, Dr. Amitabha Bandyopadhyay, Professor of Chemical Engineering at the University College of Science and Technology, University of Calcutta. Having graduated at the top of his class, he completed his MTech and PhD in Chemical Engineering from IIT Kharagpur. Besides teaching, he spent more than 10 years in a senior position at the West Bengal Pollution Control Board. His expertise being in environmental engineering and process formulations, he was nominated by MHRD, Government of India, as a visiting faculty member at the School of Environment, Resources and Development, Asian Institute of Technology, Bangkok. He was the official representative of Calcutta University for the project Sustainable Water Management in Developing Countries, which was within the scope of German Academic Exchange Service under Excellence Centers for Exchange and Development. He has visited several countries for various conferences and environmental training and research programs. Professor Bandyopadhyay has published more than 80 articles in international and national journals of repute and has served as one of the topical editors of the international journal Clean Soil, Air, Water, published by Wiley-Blackwell. He is also on the editorial boards and advisory boards of several international journals and has been one of the guest editors for CO2 capture, published by the Elsevier in Separation and Purification Technology. Awards that he has received for his research include the Outstanding Paper Award 2012 for an article published by the Springer in Clean Technologies and Environmental Policy, the Institution Prize 2009, the Professor S.A. Singh Gold Medal 2000 from the Institution of Engineers. He has edited the book entitled Carbon Capture and Storage, CO2 Management Technologies, published by Apple Academic Press. He is also the members of several governmental and professional organizations like State Level Environment Impact Assessment Authority, Jharkhand, constituted by the Ministry of Environment and Forests, Government of India, Climate Change Research Institute, Asian Council of Science Editors, the Institution of Engineers India, Chartered Engineer, Indian Waterworks Association, Indian Institution of Chemical Engineers, Air Pollution Control Association of India, etc. He is no doubt a prolific speaker, and his topic for discussion today is ethical issues in publication under Indian academic regulatory regime. Dr. Amitabh Bandyopadhyay, on behalf of Maharani Kasiswari College, I welcome you to this workshop and request you to proceed with your discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Shantidi. Professor Bandyopadhyay will now start his deliberation.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir, you're visible. Your presentation is visible.
Now?
Yes,
Now
sir.
it's
Your
coming?
presentation is visible.
Okay. So this is the topic, ethical issues in publication under Indian academic regulatory regime. So I'm not going to waste much of your time. The presentation outline that I will follow, research, publication, ethics and malpractice, I will give you some idea about what this means. Then authorship means the definition of authors. Many of the presenters, mainly the thesis writer or paper writer, the authors are having some ambiguity in their understanding for the names of the authors. So we will discuss something about it. Then the central to my topic is plagiarism, the facts, prevention and detection I will take up. Then duplicate submission, salami slicing, etc., will be taken up. In citation trading, a very disappointing experience that I would like to share with you. A few international standards followed by the UGC regulations on plagiarism. And finally, some helpful resources where we can have these things. Now, let us see the realities about the research publication ethics and malpractice. So far as the career advancement scheme as well as the recruitment of the faculty members are concerned based on UGC guideline or even AICTE followed by MHRD, we know that it is the points, API-based points, and that leads to huge career pressures and publication advantages. This is the reality. And the institutional and individual actions and responses are very weak, you know, and many of the times the problems are brushed off on the carpet, avoiding embarrassments. We do not want to speak about the plagiarism if we see somewhere around us. Fraud and malpractice are very much easier due to massive expansion of journals. There are fabrication and falsification of data and results are the major forms of malpractice. We'll take it up in little bit detail. And then plagiarism and intellectual property theft. And there are authors who are willfully disguising the sources of work through republication. And many other issues, the wrong citation, so on and so forth. Duplicate and fragmented publications are also included in the international literature in a large number. So within a very short period of time, how could one get number of publications in order to get the benefits of the publications? So a full paper is fragmented into 2 or 3 or 4 and is getting published, sacrificing the research quality. Detection, early detection is necessary, and self-regulation and institutional disciplines are very much essential for detection. If institution is lacking behind, institution is ignorant about it, then it will continue to grow. Seniority is no bar to fraud or even plagiarism. Many of the times when plagiarism is identified, then the senior or superior tries to start it off by mentioning that this is due to the fault of the students underworking them. So seniority is no bar to plagiarism or even fraud. These days, editors, reviewers, and publishers are increasingly very much alert about the frauds for detecting the plagiarism, although it is not yet optimistic. What are the consequences? Consequences are straightway the retraction of the fraud paper, and an action is registered in the journal watch list. It's a retraction list. There is black flag is posted against such kinds of authors, even in Elsevier or Wiley. So the passwords and email IDs are nowadays consolidated either in Wiley or in Elsevier journal. So authors should not think that I am blacklisted this journal, so other journals are unable to see. No, this is not at all the case right at this moment. Any author is blacklisted means the entire Elsevier community is fully aware of that who are the blacklisted authors, and the black flags are against whom. So that is the way how these days publishers, editors, and mainly publishers and editor-in-chiefs are aware of these kinds of malpractices. Authors institution, they need to take stern action even if whenever they are informed about it. Authors' behavior in this procedure, in this entire process, has come to light in the media in many occasions. Authorities need increased international awareness and action. Here we are not seeing much about the cases in the Southeast Asian countries mainly. Let us talk about the authorship, and there are disputes how to prevent it. Misrepresenting a scientist's relationship to their work. What does this mean? Listing names of people who took little or no part in the research. Some way or the other, we are introducing names of others who did not at all take part in the research. Many of you who are currently undergoing research may or may not come across. So omitting names of people who did take part, that is also a case. And it is absolutely unethical to include such kinds of names. According to this ICMJE, all persons designated as authors should qualify for authorships, and all those who qualify should be listed. This is a very important aspect. And in order to prevent such kinds of disputes, authors should consult the instruction to authors. Then comes the ghost authorship. The professional writers. The professional writers means paying some bucks, author gets written his manuscript, draft of his manuscript, but it is not acknowledged. It is not good. And professional writers must be acknowledged. Otherwise, it is become unethical practice. Gift and guest authorships based on tenuous affiliation with the study, expecting that inclusion of a particular name will ensure the chance of a publication. In many occasions, this is a very, even you know, in some situations we know that the name of the editor, name of the big shot, if we include into the name of the paper, then there will be chances of publication, chances of acceptance. That is also not good. A person in our country, say for example, having 500 papers published in a calendar year, how could it be possible? Is it possible? That kind of research. So there are a lot of controversies, lot of complications going on, but this practice continues to grow and continues to develop. Any gift or guest contribution should be vetted prior to submitting a paper. In many situations, we are not doing that. We deliberately introduce the names of heavyweights for getting publication, or for getting advantage of your getting a post either in a society, in various expert committee, or even in faculty positions. These are the common practice in our country, but that is not a very transparent way of contributing to a research. Then comes the competing interests. Undisclosed relationship that may pose a competing interest. Neglecting to disclose a relationship with a person. So, name of the author should be such, or the contribution of the author such that there should not be a relationship with the publication group as well as these groups. So, say for example, the authors from a department of an editor is being contributed from the same institute. So these kinds of competing interest is highly unethical. That's the existence of and similar to that of conflict of interest is being disclosed. Similarly, such kinds of competing interests are also to be disclosed in the manuscript. And reviewers must also disclose any competing interest with that could bias the opinions of the manuscript. Undisclosed funding source may also cause a competing interest in the study design, collection, data analysis, and interpretation. So these are seriously undermine the entire process. And the role of funding source in many journals these days it is already declared, and authors guideline is clearly integrating with these issues for mentioning the funding agencies. There are few keywords associated with the plagiarism. One is, and these are self.
Please, to interrupt, your voice is not so clearly heard. And if possible, please switch on your video so that it can be visible to us. The voice is very low.
Video from that side, I think it is disconnected, no?
No, the video is not coming from the beginning. Only the presentation we are.
So your video is not switched on. Please kindly switch on your video, sir.
Now you can see. Is it visible now?
Sir, video is not visible. It's okay.
What do you want to see?
Now it is visible, but the focus is.
What do you want to see? The presentation slides, can you see or not?
Yes, sir. Please just carry on.
Yes.
Just sound is little low.
Okay, now try to see whether the sound is coming good or bad.
Okay. Okay, just
Actually,
carry on.
these are the four keywords, and these are self-explaining in representing the plagiarism. One is cheating, academic dishonesty, and copying and pasting. This is all we are familiar with in intellectual property theft. And the definition of plagiarism so far as the Oxford Dictionary is concerned. So plagiarism is adjective, noun, and then these are the things. Now there are two kinds of plagiarism. One is intentional and is unintentional. But many situations, unintentional plagiarism is very difficult to identify these days due to the academic pressure. The literal copying is one part. That means word for word, whole document or without permission and without acknowledgement. This is no good. Then substantial copying. Substantial means quantity and quality, like research materials, processes, tables, equipment. These are falling under the substantial copying. So whenever preparing a paper or thesis or a write-up or a text, one should very much careful about what extent it should be taken and how to prevent that. We will take up very soon. Citation details are also given in the reference section, and it is clearly mentioned from journal to journal or even from publisher to publisher. Authors' names are given, then title of work, publication detail for book, story, and journal, then citing the website, web referencing. All these plays a very important role. In some situations, the secondary reference are being used where there are enough scope of wrong citation and wrong referencing. The original article should be seen rather than the secondary references. These cause a lot of problems in publication. Again, there are many softwares, many free softwares are available, but seldom these free softwares are appropriate in finding the similarity value index. Look, one thing, the plagiarism, there is no software for detecting plagiarism, although many of the journal publishers are floating text, or even I am writing here. In fact, the similarity value index is detected by the plagiarism detecting software. So how to detect, how to identify plagiarism? It requires human interaction. A person who is well equipped with this plagiarism subject and well experienced in handling the plagiarism tools or softwares, he or she will be able to take that decision whether the paper or manuscript or a thesis or a report is plagiarized or not. What these plagiarism detecting or similarity value indexing softwares does is really that it scans the highlightable text. If you copy the images, then none of the softwares will be identifying these images. The texts which are highlightable, we know in what file we are highlighting the text. So texts which are highlightable, that can be coming under the purview of these detecting softwares. There must be a clear understanding. Therefore, a similarity of the text is something different from the identicalness of the images or figure. Identicalness to images and figures, if identified by the editors or the editor-in-chief, it's a very serious offense, because it is not screened to these detecting softwares. Authenticate is the most versatile software being practiced. It's a system. It is your Turnitin software. Turnitin software is available. That is what we are using. Authenticate is a high-cost software, and it covers a lot of sources, web sources, like 60 billion web pages, 155 million content items, so on and so forth. And many of the publishers like Elsevier, Nature, Springer, and Oxford University Press are using this. There are four main reports of Authenticate. One is similarity report that shows the most relevant matches, then content tracking report that shows all relevant matches. Summary report provides an overview of matches, that content and sources. Also, you will get the largest matches. So this same manuscript or same text, 10 to 15 pages, if you screen through the authenticate, you will get 4 kinds of report. Now it is here where human interaction is necessary and is what is being practically used for taking the final decision. Now 30% is one of the cutout point in Turnitin software where the overlapping of text is out of your brand. So this is a very it's a rule of thumb, but many of the Elsevier journals or even Wiley journals seldom follow this practice. Anything between 5 to 10% is acceptable. Below 5%, you can think that your manuscript will be sent for review uncontested manner. Duplicate submission, how? Simultaneous submission and duplicate submission. Simultaneous submission means the same manuscript is submitted in n number of journals. Parallel submission. It is highly unethical and one should not do that. If editor come to know this thing, then the author will be blacklisted. Duplicate publication means once you have published one paper, majority of this part is being recycled and used in another publication rather than the same paper. So this is also not correct, and it is, in my opinion, it is because many of the authors start learning or the writing manuscript from their supervisors. So therefore, it is the responsibility of the supervisor to frame the length and breadth of the manuscript without sacrificing the quality of research. There are a large work, but that should be properly disintegrated into several parts based on this concept, so that there will not be any overlapping of text from one to that of the other. Let us see what the research fraud is meaning about. There are 2 kinds: fabrication of data and results, then manipulation of research materials is called the falsification. Image, data, or equipment or process can be falsified. Or in changing and omitting data results. Even in origin, some of the scholars, they are trimming the data by eliminating the bad data. Whether those data are bad or not, that researcher is unaware of. Just in order to get a very smooth curve, so by using the bad data in origin, removing the experimental data. This practice is also not cogent one. Manipulating data, there are also cases intentionally modifying, changing or omitting data is coming under this class, and it is not good also. It is highly unethical. Tempering data or changing data is not good. Manipulating data images, it is mainly concentrated in biological sciences, like changing the DNA structure or improving or innovating the these kinds of structure of genes or DNA molecules. This practice is being mainly focused in those areas for getting importance of publication. Then salami slicing means that is what I was talking about, the fragmented publication, breaking up several segments, and this segmentation of papers or fragmenting the papers is to be considered very carefully, that how much material should be put into a same paper, so that the text as well as results are not repeated in the papers. Now let me share with you all a very embarrassing and bitter experience that I have faced. I'm deliberately suppressing many data in explaining or sharing with this. You may not be aware of manuscript title and the journal names I have suppressed. I was one of the editor handling the article in Journal 1, and Journal 2 there are some expert is the handling editor. While we have rejected the paper in Journal 1, there are plenty of reasons in rejecting it, having its a 63% similarity value index. The same paper, identical paper, only difference is in the reference section, is accepted within 20 days and published online in 35 days. Let us see where the differences are. There are 2 citations out of 34. Out of, there are total citations in Journal 1, you can see, and Journal 2, there are 57. And handling editor of 2, there are 2 citations in Journal 1, which is increased exorbitantly in Journal 2, where it is seen as 34. Now, this is one of the cases where papers are getting accepted peacefully and very quickly. If I am the editor, if you cite my articles in your paper, then I will accept your paper. This is the condition. It's not the text, it's not the introduction, it's not the experimental work, it's not the results, it's not the findings, it's not the conclusion. It's important in getting publication. It is what is important, citation of my papers. That means the reference section is the magnified. So this is what is known as citation trading. It will soon come and catch up the international community to retract many of the papers. And outcome is compromised quality of researches, compromised quality of researchers, and it must have to have a very deleterious impact on the society as a whole rather than in any academic arena. Because these persons are getting a lot of publications, a lot of accolades, a lot of awards, a lot of higher positions. Now you see what is going to happen. There are international standards for authors. To sum up all these previous slides, they conduct research in an ethical and responsible manner. Results should be clearly and honestly submitted and presented. Methods should also be clearly and ambiguously described. Submitted work must be original, it should not be plagiarized. Authors to take the collective responsibility for preparing a manuscript before submission. Individuals' contribution should also be very transparent and clear. Conflict of interest, if any, must be disclosed. Now let me introduce with the UGC regulations. Sorry. Any regulations, any act, any rules, there are having some structures in our country. So there is a preamble, then short title, application and commencement, then definitions, then the rule or section or regulations are coming one by one. Preamble, I have deliberately picked it up for making you aware that the applicability of this regulation. The assessment of academic and research work done leading to the partial fulfillment for the award of degrees at master's and research level by a student or a faculty or a researcher or a staff. So therefore, if it is a UG project, UG internship report, that will not come under the purview of plagiarism so far as UGC regulations are concerned. So UGC teachers, the teachers who are under the ambit of UGC regulation, they should take a note of it. Master's level, your research work for getting the master's degree, it is coming under, it is within the net of UGC regulation. It may be a thesis, dissertation, publication. Then the definitions are also more or less similar, like academic integrity. Author is defined here. Common knowledge is also defined here, a well-known fact, code, figure, information. Then faculty, higher education institute. I think I have already given this regulation as a study material, so I am not detailing much about it. But script, one should know that research paper, thesis, dissertation chapters in books, full-fledged books, or any other similar work submitted for assessment or opinion. That means a script, we need to know what do we define by the script. Then source is also defined. So therefore, any supervisor, any scholar should read this regulation before preparing their manuscript or thesis, so that will help them in completing the work, because because the source is defined here. It is related to the Information Technology Act as well. Then this definition, I'm skipping it over. Now, objective. What is the objective of this regulation? To create awareness for a responsible conduct of research. Prevention of misconduct is also one of the objectives. Institutional mechanism is needed through education and training. Develop systems to detect plagiarism and to remove it. These are also needed in a higher education institution. And if identified, then punitive measures are also listed. What are the duties of higher educational institute? To enhance awareness and to promote academic integrity. Awareness program includes the UG, PG, master's degree level as a compulsory course. It should be included in the curricula. And then MPhil and PhD course also. Orientation and refresher course are also welcome. Then train student, faculty, staff and researcher for using these detecting tools and reference management tools. And finally, to establish the facility equipped with modern technology. So the stakeholders must be provided with the facilities so that they will be able to identify and locate the similarity index value for its prevention and protection. And in order to curb plagiarism, what these regulations means, what is the specific regulation? Section 6, it is discussed about it. This software should be if the software is not provided, then you cannot attract this regulation to that student. So it should be provided to student, all stakeholders, faculty, researcher and staff engaged in research. Now, while submitting the thesis, every student should submit a declaration. He or she should have to give a declaration or undertaking that the document is prepared following all guidelines and it is free from plagiarism. That should be given. This undertaking should be given. Similarly, the undertaking shall include the fact that the document has been duly checked through HEI approved plagiarism detection tool, and it shall develop institute should develop a policy on plagiarism. Unless and until this policy is put in place, these kinds of malpractice will continue to grow. Now, each supervisor also shall submit a certificate indicating that the work done by the researcher under him or her is plagiarism free. Therefore, both the student or the researcher as well as the supervisors are having bindings or having distinct responsibilities in submitting a thesis by issuing such kinds of undertaking or certificates before submission. Similarly, checks for exclusion from plagiarism. What are the areas which we can exclude? These are the areas. The excluding means common knowledge or coincidental terms up to 14 consecutive words. The note under section 7, the last 3 sentences, these are the areas which are excluded from the issues of plagiarism. So what are the areas which will be included in the issues of plagiarism? Abstract, summary, hypothesis, observations, results, conclusions, and recommendations. So there are 2 groups. One is excluded and another is included. The majority are included in the issues of plagiarism. So abstract and conclusions are also under these regulations. Now, levels of plagiarism, similarities up to 10%, it is called minor similarities. So if you are having between 5 to 10% good, 0 to 5% is excellent. Level 1, 10 to 40% similarities, level 2, 40 to 60, and level 3 is greater than 60%. Now, what is the workflow of this detection, reporting, handling, and the punishment giving process of punitive measures? The report is submitted by the one complaint should be lodged to the Departmental Academic Integrity Panel. Anyway, that complaint should come or report should come or from by any member of academic community, and they investigate the matter and submit its recommendation to the institutional academic integrity panel of the higher education institute. And the institute may also take suo motu action of an act of plagiarism or can take action on the basis of findings of an examiner and punitive measures or initiate the action against it. Now, their composition of the departmental academic panel, what are the duties of this departmental panel? The chairman, there will be 2 members, chairman from the chairman will be the HOD and some academicians outside the department will be a member, and C, point number 1, Roman small 1c, member, a person well versed with anti-plagiarism tools nominated by HOD. That is what I was talking about. So for taking the decision of plagiarism, this person will be the nodal person, key person. He or she should be the expert. He or she should be conversant with the English language. A subject expert should also be there. Vis-a-vis software handling and understanding of the subject. That this much of word is recycled. Okay, fine, I can allow it. There is no manipulation. There is no compromise decision. This decision making should be uncompromised, unbiased manner. Otherwise, the entire exercise will be futile. So, next, coming to the institutional academic integrity panel, the recommendation will come to this hard panel, right? The chairman will become the provincial dean or senior academicians. So these way members are included, and finally the report should be submitted by 45 days. Report should be submitted by within 45 days. Penalties to be imposed on whom? Mainly the students pursuing studies, researcher, faculty, or staff. Who will be conducting the research. So penalty will be imposed upon that specific person if found guilty. Then comes when the imposed penalty, it must be established that the misconduct is conducted without any doubt, and then there is no avenue for any appeal. And finally, the individual should be given sufficient scope and time and properly heard of before taking this final decision. For students, penalties, there are 4 levels. There are 4 levels of similarities. The actions are also distinctly different. Level 0, minor similarity, no penalty. Level 1, asked to submit a revised script within a stipulated time. Level 2, depart from submitting a revised script for a period of 1 year. Registration shall be cancelled for level 3. There are 2 notes. If penalty is repeated, then what will happen? Under note 1, penalty on repeated plagiarism shall be punished for the plagiarism of 1 level higher than the previous level. In case where plagiarism highest level is committed, then the punishment for the same shall be operative. Penalty in case where degree of credit has already been obtained. After passing out, now you have identified that the thesis is plagiarized. Then what will be done? In that case, the awarded degree credit as the MSBB shall be put in abeyance for a period recommended by the institutional academic integrity panel. And for employees of higher education institute, the level 0 is clean, the green line, there is no problem. For level 1, 2, and 3, the specific researcher shall be asked to withdraw the manuscript. For level 2, the 1 annual increment should be denied. For level 3, 2 successive annual increments will be denied and shall not be allowed to supervise for a period of 2 years for level 2 and for a period of 3 years for level 3. These are the purity measures. Penalty of repeated plagiarism in this case, where they are the employees, shall be asked to withdraw the manuscript and punished for plagiarism of 1 level higher than the immediate lower level. In case where plagiarism is highest level is committed, then what to do? Then repeated the same thing. In case level 3 offense is repeated, then the disciplinary action including suspension or even termination will be imposed as per the service rules by the hierarchical institute. Penalty in case where the benefit or credit has already been obtained, then it should be withdrawn. It should be withdrawn and create a mechanism. Hierarchical institute should create a mechanism to ensure that each of the paper, publication, thesis, dissertation by the student, staff, etc. is checked for plagiarism at the time of forwarding or submission. So, Hierarchical Institute must provide the software or the tools or technologies for detecting the malpractice. It should be provided. If it is not provided, then nothing could be done. The regulation cannot be attracted. It's fairly simple. However, we authors or supervisors should not take the advantage of it for our career, because if we publish following the cut copy paste mechanism, the international community or journals will not allow us to publish. So, keeping in view of that, we will follow the UGC regulation for our own, so that we will have a very transparent publication. If the plagiarism is conducted by the head of the institution or head of the department authorities, the same procedure will follow. But wherever this head of the institution or head of the departments are becoming the member of the either DPA, IAP or IAIP, they will not hold that position. They will be removed from that position, and proceedings will also be drawn against them. Now, last but not the least, there is a public notice issued by the UGC secretary in 2019 June for Indian academic community. This notice is very significant and important. Avoid it is clearly mentioned that the publication in predatory or dubious journals or participation in such conferences are to be avoided. And this in these journals, conferences, other than publication, sometimes what happens is journals are seeking editors or editorial board members. UGC also notify that not to become editors or editorial board members of such and such journals. Vice Chancellor, Selection Committee, Research Supervisor, Guides, and such other experts involved in academic evaluation assessment are hereby advised that they must ensure that the decisions are primarily based on quality of research work and not merely on number of publications. This is a little contradictory, because UGC regulations at the one point, at the one end, is insisting faculty members to publish more number of papers in order to get the promotions, in order to get the job. So far as the API score is concerned. Now at the other end, the UGC is saying that not merely on number of publications. This is little contradictory. So long as this API score based business will be operative, such kinds of malpractices will continue to grow and continue to develop. There is no end about it. However, any attempt of compromised academic integrity should be challenged, questioned, and be recognized at all levels. It is here where we should concentrate also a little bit. We should communicate amongst ourselves, the academic community, in order to prevent all these things. These are helpful resources. One can see Committee on Publication Ethics, then Council of Science Editors, International Committee of Medical Journal Editors, then resources available in policies and ethics for authors in Elsevier. COPE is very important and essential body in guiding the entire world these policies of journals. Then World Association of Medical Editors, Consolidated Standards for Reporting Trials, the Office of Research Integrity, ORI. ORI is also strong enough to develop an understanding the international journals workflow for submission to publication, including these ethical issues. This ORI is mainly responsible for that, because ORI and this I'm almost this one, International Committee on Medical Journal Editors. This in the medical science, there's causing a lot of problems. So these are very much vibrant in developing such kinds of understanding. So at the end, one should know these kinds of disclaimer. I have given it here that this presentation is prepared. This presentation is prepared exclusively for teaching purposes. Many texts were left unchanged to keep original interpretations of authors and sources. Deliberately I have done this. I have little bit changed it. Then exact punctuation could not be possible in many instances. That is what we did in our classroom lectures. Sources are mostly cited in text. Finally, it is a document for teaching purposes, not for publication purposes. So things are getting covered. So thank you very much. I think you have been able to listen the things.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Now,
Any question?
Now, I would request Dr. Anindita Hor, Assistant Professor in the Department of Political Science of Maharani Kasiswari College, to host the interactive session. Over to Anindita.
Thank you, Surjatapa. Good evening, all. I think I'm audible and visible also. Okay.
Yes, you are audible
yes.
and visible.
Okay, thank you. It is my pleasure to be part of this program. Thank you all, and thank you, Professor Amitabh Bandhopadhyay. It was very interesting session, sir, as well as important for those who are interested to publish in book articles. And we have to know the concept of plagiarism, unethical practice in research process. So you said a very detailed and how to avoid or prepare our papers without plagiarism. So without further delay, now it is time for discussion. We have some specific questions, sir. Sir, can I take in 2 or 3 questions at a time? Are you comfortable with that, or ask you one by one?
No, one by one, if you ask, it will be helpful for me.
Okay, sir.
Also.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So,
Okay.
Okay, sir, from our participant questions, she asked how to avoid self-plagiarism when paraphrasing is used. Sir, how self-plagiarism when
self-plagiarism? Yes.
when paraphrasing is used. I think he's disconnected. Sudipto da?
Yes, just wait for a few minutes.
Okay,
We
no
are trying to reconnect, sir. Okay. Okay. Participants, all you are requested to keep patience. It is a technical glitch. We all know that all these problems it happens. Please be with us. We are trying to reconnect with sir. We are trying to make connection with sir. Extremely sorry for this sudden problem. Please be with us. We are trying to connect Professor Amitabh Bandhopadhyay just to fill the gap. I would like to say that our next speaker will be Dr. Kulwant Singh, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineer, Chandigarh University. He will talk on academic writing and publication skill.
While we wait for Sir to connect, I request participants to post their questions on the chat box. We are already getting some more. If there are any more queries regarding Sir's presentation, kindly present them in the chat box. Thank you.
Once we are able to connect with Sir, then we can start the interactive session.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes. The connectivity
Okay.
problem, I was
Yes, sir. I
out
know. We
for a
can
moment.
understand.
Hmm.
Okay. Sir, one question from one participant.
Okay,
How
sure.
to avoid, yes, how to avoid self-plagiarism? When,
Self-plagiarism, you can avoid it by, first of all, if it is a paper, I think it's a manuscript, that is what you are trying to support. Definitely one paper you must have to publish. Otherwise, there is no scope of any self-plagiarism, isn't it? One paper I
oh,
must
yes.
have to publish. One paper should have to be published. Otherwise, self-plagiarism, there is no scope. Nothing is available in Indian literature. So there is no scope of plagiarism. So one of my paper has got publication. Now 30% you can recycle, not more than that. If it is less than 30%, then it's okay. This is point number one. Point number two, whatever text you are writing, you try to recast the structure of sentences so that the meaning should be same, but it should not be verbatim copied. It must not be the abridged version. Word for word copying should be avoided. This is point number two. Point number three, that is what is very dangerous. Most of the authors in the Southeast Asian countries are doing, mainly from India. If you talk about the northwestern part of India and our eastern part of India, and some other scholars, Chinese made Chinese, they are also representing. So the acknowledgement or citation. So people think that if I disclose my already published paper, then I may not get publication. So these kinds of fearness, psychosis are coming into play because of the fact this is tending to publish a lot of papers with from a very small number of words or research words. That drives the author to get many number of publications from a very small quantum of it, and the recycling texts of self-plagiarisms are flowing into the process that way only. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Okay. Sir, the second questions from one participant. How much plagiarism or similarities is ethically allowed or a research paper?
Actually, it
It's a
varies from
related questions to some any other participant from Pali Tajanta. I think she also said how much a percentage of plagiarism can be allowed to be published the paper.
Okay, fine. Look, one thing. There are two parts. One is UGC regulation. It is clearly stated that 10% is green. There is no problem. Now, second part is your international journals. As I told during my presentation, that the acceptable limit is varied from journal to journal. There is no quick fix recipe that this is the percentage that will be comfortable zone. But as an expert, I can tell you that 0 to 5% is a very, very convincing zone. You can sleep well. 5 to 10% is also good. But excellent is 0 to 5. 5 to 10 is good. But more than 10%, I am not sure. Some journal may definitely finger their course. They may cross their finger. So 0 to 10% is the comfortable zone. And beyond which, it varies from journal to journal.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Is it okay?
Yes, and one question from our Professor Anindo Basu. He asked, is it possible to check plagiarism of the scholarly communication written in Indic language like Bengali, Marathi? That's our language.
I don't think so, because this software is mainly developed for serving the English language based journals. And any other regional language in our country, in other countries' languages, whether these are available or not, I am not aware of. Because that I showed that this Turnitin software is based on English language. Because it introduces the international literature from the English speaking countries and English languages only. But for Bengali, Hindi, Oriya, Marathi, that is not available. No, sir, because whatever softwares, the professional softwares are based on English language. This is point number one. Therefore, the scope of Indian languages are not not in place.
Exactly, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So one question from our participants. It's the name. Her name is Pallavi Majumdar. Could you please suggest plagiarism checker software at individual level?
It is highly cost intensive. Highly cost intensive. It is very difficult to procure. Authenticate software, it cannot be given. It is given to the institute. Like IITs are procuring that software. Several lakhs of rupees is to be paid for that, and they yearly renew the subscription. So it is highly costly. Personal level, I cannot remember. But I manage because of the fact I am a member of some of the things, so I have been given opportunity to take the advantage. But that is not normally given to any individual. You can talk to the supplier of Authenticate. They will also tell about you same thing. Institute should purchase, and student, because they will give multiple accounts from which students will be able to access. But individual students, they may not. It will become very much difficult for purchasing by individual student.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
I have a question, sir.
Yes.
I'm Shiritapa. If one present a part of her or his research work in a conference and wish to add this work in a journal publication, will be accepted as a plagiarism, or if we acknowledge it or cite it, then it will be not a self plagiarism?
Research work in a conference means, is it published in a conference proceedings?
No, not published, but abstract is there.
Presented. Okay, abstract is there. That is a very minor thing. You can straight away publish your research presentation in any conference where abstract is available, right? And in the acknowledgement section, you can write that the same paper is presented in such and such conference.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Then it will be covered, because your written texts are not available. Whatever you have presented, but so many things are suppressed in a presentation. Through slides, we show some relevant things. Entire paper-wise, we cannot present. So definitely you can publish. Definitely you can publish.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, can we take one or two questions more? Is it comfortable?
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, some participant named Stainless Shakala, she or he was asked that I'm writing articles or journal on teaching on pragmatic. Kindly, who may help me help here? Oh, sorry. I think the questions is that uh, I think his question is not.
Anindita,
Yes,
Anindita,
I think no, no.
you can
Yes,
take the last one of
last one is
Stanley
yes,
Sakala,
exactly.
right? How to use the
Yes,
Mendeley, particularly in referencing. Okay.
reference. The last. Okay, sorry. Could you also explain the usefulness of uh, Mendeleev in helping the researcher in referencing, quotation, and gap identification? Sir,
Hmm?
This thing, I think it's not
It's
a
a,
part of his presentation.
out of exactly out of
Yeah.
his presentation.
If there is any time, I will I can show that how the differences is managed by Mendele.
So, okay,
If
sir,
Yes,
the last.
it will become another
last-
presentation
okay,
because mainly, it's a good question. Scholars are requiring these things, how to adjust the reference. It's a
reference
different presentation altogether. It will take time. It will take time. It cannot be. It cannot be answer. I am unable to answer in 1 or 2 sentences.
Yeah, you have to show it in this present.
It is
It's
to be shown.
hand-on training actually.
For make one understand. Yes, for make one understand, it is to be shown.
Sir, one question from Tulika Mukhopadhyay. She
Yes.
asked that I know how to may I know how to journals for publications? I mean, what should be the criteria for choosing a perfect journal for publications?
May I
Yes,
interrupt?
this is.
I think this.
This is the next presentation speaker.
Yes, but he can if you.
This
said
can
it.
be available. This can be available in both Springer and Elsevier journal. The author's site. Authors may enter into there and they may give their keyword so that the journals they will list. And from there, authors may like to accept the journal, choose their journal for publication. It is available in both. Springer has developed after 2 or 3 years continuously we are pressing to develop that type of thing. The authors board or authors site, they can enter and tell them to navigate the Springer as well as Elsevier author site. They will be getting this. Which journal is specific to their work, they can get it. They will get it.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you once again. Thank you being with us, sir. I think it's the questions are not. I think.
Okay, if you are having more questions, my
Yes.
email ID is given. Those who are participating, they may directly write to me, and I shall try my level best to answer to their entire satisfaction.
Exactly,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Exactly, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And
Thank you. Thank you
yes,
so
sir.
much.
So thank you once again, sir. I would like to hand over my mic, Professor Suryatapa, for the next session.
Thank you, Anindita. This is the time for the session 2. For the session 2, I would request Dr. Uttam Kumar Sardar, Associate Professor and HOD of Department of Geography of Maharani Kasiswari College, to introduce our resource person, second speaker of today, Dr. Kulwant Singh.
Thank you, Suryatapa. Good evening. I warmly welcome everyone in today's workshop on art of academic writing. Our eminent speaker in this session is Dr. Kulwant Singh. He will be delivering his lecture on academic writing and publication skill. Dr. Kulwant Singh is working as an assistant professor at Chandigarh University in Mohali, Punjab. He received his bachelor degree in mechanical engineering from Kurukshetra University and received his master degree from Guru Jambeshwar University of Science and Technology, Disha, Haryana. He has received many excellent awards in research, teaching, and administration at the institute level. He has an excellent records, research publications in SCI journal. He is a mainly advisor and has good exposure to use smart referencing software, including mainly reference manager. He also supervising masters and PhD scholars. He has given numerous expert talks at national and international workshops and FDPS. He also facilitated, coordinator, and resource person more than 100 training workshops on mainly reference manager, Jotiro, article writing skills, and journal selection. I would request Dr. Sheen to start his presentation.
Thanks a lot, Professor Uttamkumar Sada, for your nice welcome. And,
Thank you.
Good evening to all the participants and dignitaries from the institute. So first of all, I warm welcome all of you in my session. And in this session, we will discuss about how to write a research paper and how to select a appropriate journal for our article. So with your permission, can I start the session? So I am sharing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sorry.
Please proceed, sir.
Yes.
It's our pleasure, sir.
I am sharing the screen. So just confirm that it is visible to you.
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Okay, very nice. So without any delay, I have earlier told that our session is on the writing a research paper and journal selection. So first of all, we have to know about what is research, because we are writing a research paper. So every researcher should clear what is research. It is a logical and systematic search for new and useful information on a particular topic, or we can say it is a creation of new knowledge or use of existing knowledge in a new or creative way, so as to generate new concept, methodology, or understandings. And in broad sense, we can classify the research in the two ways. First is the fundamental or the basic research, and on the other hand, the applied research. In the basic research, so it is the curiosity driven, intended to answer why, what, and how questions. Means why it is happened, what is the requirement, and how. So this type of answer we have to answer in this type of the research. Increase the understanding of the fundamental principles, and does not have any immediate commercial objective in the basic research. It may not necessarily result in any invention or a solution to the practical problem. For example, make improvements in the existing product, any technology, or any process. When we are improving any technology to answer the new questions, or it is, you can say, basic research is an important cycle of the advancement in any field. And on the other hand, applied research is answer the specific question to solve a practical problem. In this research, acquire new knowledge with specific commercial objective in the form of any product, any procedure, or any service. For example, improve agriculture crop production, treat or cure a specific disease, improve the energy efficiency of the home, office, or mode of transportation, suggest innovative and modify method of measurement in any specific investigation. So these are the few examples of the applied research. Now, what are the benefit of the research publishing? So in the research, it is a important and essential part that we have to publish our research worldwide. So it is mandatory to publish a paper for the researcher to submit the final thesis. In most of the organization, it is the mandatory requirement for the master and the doctorate level scholars to submit their thesis. Means earlier to submit their thesis, they have to publish 1 or 2 research paper in the UGC approved or SCI or Scopus Index journals. Recognition the research worldwide. By publishing our research, we are recognizing our work worldwide. A chance to learn, write a paper, helping in improving the writing skills. Think more clearly on a particular topic. And research writing help in the knowledge upgradation. It create a set of knowledge for the others also. Publicity to your research work. It adds value to your credit, to your work, to your profession, to your profile. It motivate others to pursue the researches. It give a chance to externally assess your work and achieve some personal gains, establishing oneself as an expert or receive grants or any promotion in their organization. So these are the few benefit of the research publications. So publication are the currency of the world of science. And in a research paper, this is the generally question, what we have to write or what should be in a particular research paper. So in the research paper, to draw a parallel, a lawyer researches and reads about many cases and uses them to support their own cases. Means a lawyer scholar search about and read about many earlier decisions on the cases of his similar research to support the current case. A scientist read many case studies to support an idea about any scientific principle. Likewise, a history student writing about the World War might read newspaper article, historical books, or the interviews to develop and confirm the viewpoint and to support it, support their you can say viewpoint with the evidences. So these things, if we have to focus when we are writing a research paper, we have to draw the parallels, we have to support our idea, and we have to develop a viewpoint with the evidences in our research work. These are few popular type of the research paper. When we are writing a research paper, we should know which type of our paper is. So it may be a argumentative paper, it may be a analytical paper, it may be definition paper, it may be compare and contrast paper, it may be cause and effect paper, it may be a report or the interpretive paper. It totally depend upon our stream or our discipline of the research. Okay. Now, just come to basic structure of a research paper. So in a research paper, there is few sections. So first is the title, abstract, keywords. So these three sections are used for search and finding our document. When we published our research paper, so our title, abstract and keyword helped in search or to find our research document. Introduction, methods and result and discussion. These three sections tell about our research story, what we have done. And then conclusion, acknowledgements, references are the supporting or supplementary materials. So these section provide the context to our article. So we will discuss one by one. So first of all, the title of a research paper. Because when we are doing the research, so it is aim of each scholar is to publish a paper in the reputed journal having good indexing, good impact factor. And when we are expecting our publication in a reputed journal, so we have to frame out, we have to write our document with the quality. So each and every section or each and every sentence of our paper should be very concise and meaningful, right? So first of all, effective manuscript title. So we have to write our title or select our title very effective. So our title, it should identify the main issue of the paper. Means our title should be able to identify the main issues that is discussed in our paper. It should be concise, but it should be accurate, specific, and complete in all respect. There should be use of the professional language in the manuscript title, and we should avoid the rarely used abbreviations in the titles. Will attract the readers. It should be short, catchy to get the better citation, right? For example, a original title of a research paper is the preliminary observations on the effect of zinc element on the anti-corrosion of zinc plating layer. So we can revise it for make it more effective, short and catchy. So you can rewrite or revise in this way: effect of zinc on anti-corrosion of zinc plating layer. So revised title is somewhat more meaningful, short and somewhat effective than the original title. So when you are selecting your title, so you should have keep these points in your mind regarding your manuscript title. Writing a good title for manuscript should also cover this thing, or you can say we should follow this particular procedure. So first of all, list the topic covered in the manuscript. When you have written your manuscript or the paper, so what topic we have covered in our manuscript? So just list out the major topics. Then try to put all of the topic together in a title using the few words as possible. And in this way, we can write down few possible titles using these topics. After this, select the best to refine further. And for help, you may ask to your supervisor, your colleagues, your mentor, your collaborator for their opinion to improve the title. And spending the time needed to do this practice will result in a better title. If you do this practice, then you will be able to a good title for your manuscript. Now, there is another example. We have taken another title, the new insights in the property of treated coated metals. So this is the title of a published paper. right? So it is to journal and which properties, which metal treated how. I think these things are not clear from this title. So if we'll try to make it more effective, then we can rewrite as a better way. So you may write this title, write the title for this particular paper in this way: antibacterial and biological characteristics of tantalum oxide coated titanium pre-treated by plasma electrolytic oxidation. So if we are using this particular title, we have chosen, or you can say rewrite this title after you can say go through the complete paper. So from our side, we write this title. So it is very specific and good keywords are there, because when we search any article or any literature online, then we will try the strong keyword of our research field. So if our title contain the few good keywords, and then our paper will be able to appear in any search by the other researchers. So it will be attractive to the researcher of the three areas: antibacterial, then coated titanium areas, and the plasma electrolytic oxidation. So it will cover the three, you can say, basic type of the research scholars of different areas. So you should try to improve your title to make it effective as possible you can. Next section is the keywords. So keywords are the labels of our manuscript. They are used for indexing and abstracting services. So keyword should be specific, should use only established abbreviations like DNA, for example. And when you are selecting the keywords, you should follow the journal's guideline, because in the some journals there is some suggested keywords of the particular research area. So you have to go through the author's guideline for a particular journal. And for example, if your title is an experimental study of evacuated tube solar collector using supercritical CO2, then your keywords may be solar collector, supercritical CO2, solar energy, solar thermal utilization, like this. Next section is the abstract. So abstract briefly introduce the reader about the aim of our study, our methodology used in the research, and result and finding of the study. So try to keep it as brief as possible. Summarize your problem, write your methodology, your result, and the conclusion about the particular result during your research. Make sure abstract is clearly written and easy to understand. Make sure it is accurate and specific while also being catchy, and try to write the abstract in the last so accurately reflect the content of the paper, because abstract is, we can say, it is the trailer of your article. So you have to present each and every important information in very concise way in the abstract, and we have to write the things in a such a way to attract the interest of the reader, because after going through the abstract, reader will decide to read or not to opt your paper for the full paper reading. And generally try to follow a rule of 10. Take one or two sentences about the aim of your research work. 2 or 3 sentences about the materials and method you are using in your research work. 2 or 3 sentences about the results or outcome of your study, and 2 sentences about the discussion or the conclusion of the work. So in this way you can write your abstract for your article. Yes, from this particular abstract you can see in the first sentence the topic of the article is covered, then methods is explained, then main results are written, and then at the end conclusion. So you have to take care of these parameters or these few fundamental tricks to write the effective abstract for your article. Then next section is the introduction. So introduction, set up your topic and approach for the reader. And introduction has the several key goals. Present your topic and get the reader interested. To state clearly all purpose for the study, frame in a discussion, or each and everything we have written in the introduction should be in a story manner, right? To define the research questions of your study, explain the problem, and then provide background and you can say summary of the existing research. So these few things we have to include in our introduction section. And if we are taking any information from the literature, from the other paper, from the any other sources, so never forget to cite the original source of information. Yes. In the introduction, detail specific problem, then highlight the main issues and controversies about your problem, mention the existing solution and the limitations, then describe your approach and give a overview of the paper structure if required. So and follow this particular sequence. Introduce your topic, then describe the background of your topic, then establish your research problem, making the brief about the literature, right? And then specify your objective to complete, or you can say to answer the research questions, to complete the research gap we are finding for our research, and then map out your paper. So we have to follow this sequence in the introduction. Next section is the methods. So outline what was done and how was done in the method section. Demonstrate the research method you are using in your study. Explain and justify the methods of data collection and the analysis. Describe how the problem was studied. Include detailed information to allow the repetition. Do not describe any previous published procedure, but if you are using the any existing procedure, then cite it clearly. Identify the equipment and material used in your study and use proper notation, including the chemical formula or symbol in the method section. next section, that is the results. So result section provides an overall view or the description of the experiments. Present the data that obtained in a logical order using the tables or the graph as necessary. It totally depend upon your outcomes or your data you have from your research. You may use the tables or you may use the graph for the better presentations. Present the finding using headings planned in the methodology. Our result section is always follow the pattern of the methodology section. Heading arises from the pattern or found in the research. It means when we are presenting the research result, then we may follow the methodology sections or the heading, or our heading should be followed by the pattern found in the research, and simply state your finding without any interpretations. Never try to make the interpretation in your result. Include only data of the primary importance, that is main or the unexpected findings. Use the supplementary data for the data of the secondary importance. If there is some data and you feel that this data is very important to share with the other scholars, then you may submit a supplementary data. Use the subheading to keep the result of the same type together and avoid the redundancy. Use figure and table for the efficiency and the clarity in your paper, and try to provide the statistical analysis if required. Means our result section is totally depend upon our finding, and we should present each and everything with well planning, and our illustration should be very effective. Then next section, in the next section or sometime results and discussion section is the one section. Most of the paper, most of the researcher use the only one section to present the result and the discussions. So it may be in the same section, or you may use the different section. It totally depend upon you. So in the discussion, comment on the trends or the findings and show your understanding of what your data suggests. Mean you have to support your data. What is the trend your data is showing? What is extraordinary in your findings? So you have to put the comments, or you have to present your own view on your results. Highlight anything unexpected that comes from your study. Show what is new, what is different and important in your research result. Interpretation of your result with the literature. You may use the literature to support your finding, or also include the few literature that is the contradictory to your results. Explain how the result answer the question under the studies, because at beginning we have defined few questions to answer in our research. So we have to explain how our result answer the planned questions. Consider alternative explanation of our results. Make the discussion corresponding to result and complement them. Compare published result with your own result. And conclusions of your discussion should be consistent with the study objective and the research question. This is very important. When you are defining your objective, your research question, so make sure that your discussion or your conclusion of your discussion should support your objective or the question you have decided earlier. What we have to avoid in the discussion? Repetition of the results. Statement that go beyond what the result can support. Any biased language, any biased citation of the previous work or literature, any confused statistical significance, non-specific expressions, and new term not already defined or mentioned in your paper. So scholars should avoid this thing in the discussion sections. Then the conclusion. In conclusion section, we have to sum up our findings and highlight the significance of outcome of our study. Explain how your work is advanced to present state of the knowledge. Summarize the main point of your study. Conclude your thoughts. Discuss uses, extensions, and the applications of your work. Discuss the limitation of your study and indicate where the future research is needed. Suggest the future experiments. Do not repeat results or the abstract. Be clear to help the reviewer and editor to judge your work and its impact. In conclusion, there is no need to repeat the sentences as it is from the result or the abstract. This is not a good practice. So what we have to include in our conclusion, we should highlight the main significance of our study about each and every topic of our objective, or you can say research questions. Just summarize the important point of your study and try to state out the few further research or the future top of your study. So this will help the reviewer or editor to judge your work or its impact or its novelty. So in this way, we have to write a effective conclusion for our article. Next section is the acknowledgement. So in the acknowledgement section, never forget to acknowledge your advisors, those who provide any advice during your research study, any financial supporter or the funders, any proofreader or the typist, or any supplier who provide the material for your study. So we can include these peoples or this you can say organization to acknowledge in our acknowledgement section. Then next is the references. So in the reference section, what care we should you can say follow, or you can say opt what is required. So never include too many references in your article. Always ensure you have fully observed the material you are referencing, because in the most of cases some researcher include the suppose reference list is about 100 or 50 papers, but in the text there is only a few papers are cited. So we have to completely observe all the papers we are listing in our reference section. Avoid excessive self-citation to the publication from the or second is first is avoid the self-citation, and second, citation from the publication of the same region or the institute. Sometimes researchers used to cite their own paper unnecessarily. So self citation should be avoided, excessive should be avoided. Some important paper, those who are you can say important for the reference purpose or for any evidence purpose, we should use, but avoid the excessive. And on the second hand, there is no need to include the publications or the paper from any particular region or the an institute. Means we have to consider the literature from the worldwide organization, from the worldwide researchers. Never bound your literature list or your reference list within your institute, within your state or within your country. Consider the paper from the globally. Confirm any requirement or outline from the guide for the authors. Means which style we have to use, which type of the reference we should include, like this, right? How to present the web page, how to present the books reference, how to present the journal reference, how to present the conference proceeding. So there should be some specific guideline. So follow the guideline for the authors for particular journal. And you may use any reference manager such as Mendeley, because Mendeley is also a powerful reference manager tool you may use for managing the references for the citation purpose. And for this purpose, you may also use my another session on YouTube also. So I will provide you link, no issue. And next is the appendices. In some cases, we have some other important data which is not included in the main other section of our paper. So we may use the appendices to add the such type of the data, like to present the relevant details such as any letter of participation or any organization, to present the detail of any questionnaire, survey, or a relevant instrument that you have developed for the purpose of study, to prevent the relevant document like any report, any policy, or any historical document. You may use this type of the data also in the supplementary, but like letter of participation, these are generally, appendices are generally used in the thesis. In very rare cases, research papers are also used the appendices. So this is the journal, you can say, recommended process of writing or the building of a research article. So when you are doing a research, so how to start when we have completed our research and now we are supposed to write the article or our thesis. So first task what we have to do, so when you have result of your research in your hand, then try to, or you can say start making figures and the table from your data to visualization of your data in the better presentation. Then after preparing the figures and the table, you should write the method section. And in the method section, after written the method section, you should write the results. So result section always follow the methodology section, right? So we can use the tables and figures and write the results section. And after result, you have to write the discussion section, using in your own voice as well as the support from the literature. And then when you are writing your result and discussion section in parallel, you should try to draw a few conclusion about your results for the result conclusion section. And after completion of the method, result, and discussion, start writing the introduction. complete the introduction section and finalize your conclusion. And then at the last, write title, abstract, and the keywords. That is the title page. And after completing this complete task, writing your article, you should review your article. You should try to improve your article to make it more, you can say, concise and better. You can say by removing the unnecessary word to improve the quality of your language, and any, you can say, missing error like this. So we have to go through the complete article to review it for make it more effective. Next, authorship definition. In the most of cases, generally students or the scholars are asked about the authorship. So first author, who should the first author in our article? So first author who conduct or supervises the data analysis and proper presentation and interpretation of the results may be the author, first author of your article. It means you or your supervisor. If you are the scholar, you are doing the research, you and your supervisor may be the first author in your article. And second is the co-author. So co-author who make the intellectual contribution to the data analysis and contribute to the data interpretations, who help your you in the data analysis and the data interpretation, who review the each draft of your paper and must be able to present the result, who can defend the implications and the discussion of your study limitations. You may include in your author list as a co-author. Then the corresponding author. So corresponding author who will deal with the journal for all communication of the publication process. Generally we denoted with the star. And there is some abuses in the author's list that should be avoided. The first is the ghost author, leaving a person out who should have included. Means a person, a candidate who have significant contribution in your research work, but you are not including the such person in the author list. This is the ghost author, and this practice should be avoided. Second is the gift authors, including author when they did not contribute significant. Many means any author who have no contribution in your article, but you are counting him as a authors. So this is the gift authors, and such type of the person are not able to present your research, are not able to, you can say, defend your research. So such type of the author should be avoided. Next thing is the plagiarism. So plagiarism is the appropriation of the another person idea, processes, results, or words without giving appropriate credit, including those obtained through the confidential review of the other research proposals and the manuscript. And plagiarism itself a offense in the researcher community. So we have to try to avoid the plagiarism, or we can say the similarities in our articles. So plagiarism in the practice, any of the following can be the plagiarism in your article if you are using the words from the other source, any ideas, diagram of other source, any figure, table, computer programs, findings, writings, information, lectures, presentations, printed material, or electronic material. If you are taking any type of the material including in this list for in your article from any other source and you are not giving the credit to the original source, so this is under the plagiarism. So never copy word to word from any source. Paraphrasing should be avoided, and there is no need to text recycling or the self plagiarism. This is also you can say not a good practice. The truth, credit is not like the money. Giving credit to the other does not menace or the reduce the credit you get from your paper. So warmly acknowledge those who helped you. Be generous to your competition. Be fair toward your work, and acknowledge limitation and justify your contributions. Reviewing of the complete paper. There is a checklist how to review, or you can say what we have to check during the final revision of your article. So just check, did I begin each paragraph with a proper topic sentence? Have I support my argument with the documented proof or examples? Check any unfinished sentence. Check for any unnecessary or the repetitious word in the article. Varying length of the sentences. Does a paragraph or idea flow smoothly into the next? Means our writing should be in the smooth manner or a story manner. Any spelling or the grammatical error. Quotas accurate in the source, spelling, and the punctuation. Are all my citation accurate and in correct format? So these things we have to check during the reviewing of our complete article. Next thing is cover letter. When we are submitting our paper to a journal, so there is a requirement of the cover letter. So cover letter is your chance to speak directly to the editor. And in the cover letter, explain the main findings and the motivation of your study. Highlight novelty and significance of your result. State final approval from all the authors. State peer reviews and the revision applicable to your article. Not any specific requirement or suggest the reference, and state any conflict of interest in your article. Now, there is an example of the cover letter. So generally when any journal demand the cover letter, so most of the scholars take it very, you can say, linear, and they write a cover letter like these few lines. Dear editor, hereby we are submitting our paper to the for consideration in your journal. All authors have agreed to submit this article, and this manuscript is not under the consideration by other journal. Best wishes, this and this. But this is not cover letter at all. This is just a formality. So what we have to cover in the cover letter? Describe your background, about your research, earlier publication, your expertise. Describe your content of your paper, like topic, what is new in your topic, relevance of your study and outcome of your work. And then point out why it is a good match with this journal. Topic wise, a recent similar publication in that particular journal. Highlight the few earlier published papers of that journal with your you can say similar field, and citation to the journal. Take the 2 or 3 papers of your same field for your citation purpose in your article, and suggest reviewer, and also mention why the reviewer are suitable for your article. So these things we have to include in the cover letter like this. This is the, we can say, perfect or the better cover letter for a article. Like in this way, professor, or you can say, dear editor, please find this manuscript on this topic we are submitting to this journal. All authors have agreed to this submission and this is not under consideration. Then start writing about your topic. Then write few things about your expertise. Then write what is new in your article. What is the significance of your article? Why your article is attractive for this journal? And then assist the editor, means suggest few reviewer for your article. And reviewer should not be your friend, should not be your guide, and should not be from any particular reason. It take the reviewer list from you can say worldwide researchers. So this is a complete form of the cover letter. So try to write in this way, and I will request to the organizer to share this PPT with all of the researcher. And the same session is also available on my YouTube channel. If any of the you can say scholar or the researcher need any further assistance, I will also provide my emails. So you may write to me and I will definitely help at my level.
Sure, sir.
Yeah. What actually happens when we submit our article to the journal? So first, when we start writing and submit our article to the journal, then basic requirement checked by the editor. So if our article meet the basic requirement, then it further send or you can say assign the reviewer to that particular article. When the reviewer accept the article for review, then it goes to the reviewer, and reviewer review that particular article and give the recommendation. So after receiving all the recommendation from all the reviewers, editor take the decision, right? And it may reject, or it may, you can say, accept, or it may accepted with the revision. So if any article is accepted with the revision, then it is sent back to the author for revise the article according to the comment of the reviewers, and then same process is also followed. And for the rejection purpose, the journal or editor reject the paper at the first stage if the basic requirements are not met, like formatting of your article, structure of your article, any specific guideline of the author you have not followed, right? Any you can say poor English writing or the language, basic you can say requirement like scope of the journal. So if these basic things are not met with the particular journal, then it is rejected at the first stage without reviewing. And if your article is passed, or you can say clear the basic requirement, then it is under the, it goes under the reviewing process. But it is not sure that your paper is goes under the review, then it will be accepted. So it totally depend upon the quality of your article. So here there is need to understand what they are looking for, means editor. So what are the reviewer or looking for in your article? So importance of the hypothesis, originality of your work, clear progression or progression through the paper or presentation of your paper. When we submit our paper, so there may be 2 or 3 cases. Suppose our article have the novelty, good novelty, high level, right, at this level, but quality of your article is not up to the mark. So suppose this large. So at this case, when our article have the novelty, but its quality is not up to the mark, then it is sent to for the revision to improve the quality, right? And on the other hand, if your article have the sufficient technical quality but there is lack of the novelty, then again the same case that it shan't be for the you can say revision to ensure the novelty and to highlight the novelty of your article. And another case where novelty is poor as well as quality is poor, so it is rejected at the first stage, right? And on the other hand, next option is when the quality is high and the novelty is high, then it will be accepted. So our paper should be of the high quality and the sufficient novelty, then we can assure that there is a probability of the acceptance in any journal. So make sure you are writing a paper with the novelty as well as the quality. The essential content expected from the editor: prime novelty, impact of your research, and the scope or you can say audience of your other research work. So in the novelty, core idea should be novel and the useful, which is supported by the systematic search of the literature. Suppose your paper is sent back for the revision to improve or highlight the novelty. So what you will do, how you will improve the novelty? Means your core idea should be novel and useful. So support with the systematic search of the literature to you can say what is the novelty in your article. Second is the impact of the research, means findings should be specify the significant advancement in the field of research. And scope and the audience, the work should be adequate curiosity to community of the scholars. Means it should be the useful for the scholars to use in the further studies. So these are the few expectation of the editor, and we have to add or you can say take the few consideration of this thing in our article if we want to publish the article in the good journals. Then one thing we have to take care, what is the author's behavior and what is the reader behavior when you are writing a paper. So author behavior means author want to publish more, author want peer review journals, other journal function important and crucial in the publication like impact factor, indexing, like these. So these are the these points are the under author behavior. And on the other hand, what is the reader behavior? Want integrated study, borrowing is important and crucial, quality information, and want to read the less. So when we compare both points, if you are author, then take care the behavior of the reader, because we are writing the paper for the scientific community and for the readers. So we should take care the behavior of the reader. So write your paper in very concise way, because the reader want to read very less. He want very quality information in very less pages. He want to borrow the important and the crucial information only, and he want integrated systems. So take care of the reader behavior when you are writing your research or considering your research topic also. A word about your words. So make sure the journal space is very precious. So be concise in your writing practice. If clarity can be achieved in n words, never use n+1. So focus on this statement. Use only n words. If you can clear your message in the n words, so there is no need to use the n+1. Now, next thing is selection of the journal for our submission, for our article, or you can say how to select the journal for our article. So what practice we should do for the selection of the journal? So look at your references. When you have written your article, so you have included few references of the good papers. So look at the references. These will help you narrow your choice. Means there may be some 1, 2, 3, 5 good references. So review the recent publication in the each candidate journal. Means from these references you have to pick the particular journal. Search out about that particular journal and review few recent publications in each journal and find out the hot topics that are accepted in the journal and the type of the article accepted in the particular topics. Then ask the few questions like, is this journal is peer reviewed? Who is this journal audience? What is the average time to print and what is the impact factor of the journal? And from these journal you may decide the one journal for your article, and do not submit to multiple journals. Always submit a paper in the one journal. It is the publication ethic. Now, what is the criteria for the journal selection? Suppose anybody suggests you a journal for the publication. So what you will check about your article and that journal? Best title match, site score. You have to check the impact factor, acceptance rate, and decision time. So these are the few important or the major criteria you have to check during the selection of a journal. Because there is sometime we have limitation of the time to publish the article. There may be some you can say requirement of the impact factor. There may be you can say some particular you can say indexing agency, or you can say indexing is required for any organization. So you have to check this criteria. As per our requirement, we can select journal on this basis. Now, these are the few links we can select a journal for our article. So we will do the practice on one or two, and the message you can say procedure for all the journal or all the link is same. What practice we have to follow? Just click on the particular link. So it will direct you to the this link, right? This is the journalguide.com. So here you need to write the few top keywords of your research field or manuscript title and your manuscript abstract. So for this practice purpose, I am searching any particular paper. Meanwhile, I am clicking on the any another link. Suppose this is the link for the elsewhere. The first link, that is the journal guide, it is a particular common website for all the publisher, all the journals, right? But the second, third, fourth, these are the few. Second link is for the specific for the elsewhere publication. Third link is the for specific for the Sprinzer journals. Next is for the Teller and Francis journal. Next is for the Village journal. In this way, if you know any particular publication of the journal, so that publication have the some journal finder or the suggested link. So you may use this type of the journals, right? Yes. Suppose I have this particular title of my journal, and I want to search a particular journal for this paper, right? So just paste this. Is also the same window. Here the paper title and abstract is required. So I am taking this particular title and this abstract for our search. This is for the practice purpose. You may search with your own. And then click on the search, right? So you will check, there is a long list of the 49 journal that is matching with our given data. Journal of Manufacturing Process. This is the site score. This is the impact factor. This is the acceptance rate 24. It means out of 100, average 24 papers are accepted by this journal. Time to first decision generally take it 6 weeks, about 1.5 months. Then Journal of the Material Processing Technology. So this is site score, this is impact factor, this is acceptance rate, and you can say refine your search short by journal names. Suppose I want to publish in the high impact factor journal, then it will, we can see short in this way. Then you will see here the first paper is of the 48 impact factor. This journal is having impact factor. Acceptance rate 11, first decision to 12 week, right? And suppose in this way, what we have to do next after finding this list, you have to check one by one journal for its scope. When you click on this, then what is the journal scope? The scope is given here. If your paper meet with this particular scope, then you can go for this particular journal. You can submit your article in this. And another another condition you have to check, this is subscription or the open access, because there is most of the good journals having the subscription. It means you have not to pay any amount to publish the paper in this article, you can say journals. But if the journal is open access, then you have to pay. So if you have any type of the funding, then you can opt the open accesses. Otherwise, the subscription based journals are good for the publication without paying any amount. The open access price is this value, $5,630. This is the gold access, right? So I think there is no need to explain each and every link. This is very similar to all. So you can go through this link. Next is, suppose we have selected the journal, but how we come to know that that particular journal indexing or their impact factor are authentic? There may be some predatory journal, there may be some fake journal, because these days we have from the morning to evening we have received the so many messages from the brokers, from in the groups regarding the fast publication, and even the some fake journal, those who have not any website, they are showing the impact factor more than 10, 20, and sometimes there is a doubt regarding their editor that they know what is the impact factor, like this. So how to check their authenticity? So these are the few links you can check their indexing like this. So first link is to check whether a article is under the SCI or not. Science citation indexing. Web of Science group, this is the master list. You have to just paste here the journal name, any SSN number or the title. Suppose we want to check this journal, right? So you have to just copy this SSN number like this. This is the SSN number of the journal, and I am copying here and just paste in this search window, right? And click on the search. So what you will get? You will get all the detail about this journal. So this is the journal found in this list, this publisher of this particular journal. This is the session number. It is under SCIE. So in this way, you can check the particular journal indexing. Second link is the for there is also search window. You have to just paste the session number and search about the particular journal. If any journal is found in this window SJR journal, it means you cannot say that it is fake journal. In the third link, there is the Scopus sources. So any journal who is claiming the Scopus indexing, you can check from this particular list. When you click on this link, this page will be open, and at yes, so you can find from this list of the journal. And Scopus is also published a list of the predatory, or you can say removed journal time to time. So you may also cross check from that particular list. After 1 or 2 months, discontinued journal list is published by the Scopus. So check your particular journal from that list, and that list also be helpful to find the suitable journal for your article in the Scopus indexing. If you want to search the journal, then this is Excel sheet, so you may directly search from the particular list, and then this is the link where you will find the discontinued list. Upload the source list including the Scopus discontinued list. Just click on this link, and a Excel sheet will be downloaded, and you may, this is the July 2022, means it is last updated in the month of the July. So you may check for any of the journal. You have to just find the journal. After downloading, we will discuss, no issue. And at last, there is link of the UGC care. You may check for any UGC care approved journal. And in UGC care, you have to create your account. So there is a two type of the list. One is the UGC care list group 1, the journal found in qualified UGC protocol. So UGC care list first group, in which the journal, those who are not included in the Scopus, SCI or any globally recognized database. So just click on this list and you may find any UGC care approved journal from this list. You have to create just login and so you may search on the title like this. Suppose you have title SSN number, just put and search. So it will give the detail about any particular journal. Means in this way you can check any document. Suggest the potential reviewers. This is about the paper. When you are submitting your paper, so I think this slide is from the paper. So when you are submitting your paper, make a list of the few potential reviewers to assist the editor. When you submit a list of reviewer, then it may, you can say, attract the attention of the editor to send your article for the you can say review. Because most of the journals, there is a, you can say, deficiency or you can say lacking for the reviewers. So if you are presenting a list of reviewer with the few specific reason for the particular reviewer you are suggesting, then there may be some probability to you can say clear the first stage, that is the reviewing process. And reviewer should be represent at least the two reason of the word. It should not be your close friend or the supervisor, and suggest 3 to 6 potential reviewer for your article. Be careful and never ever trust on the social website journals and their consultant. All journals are predatory, fake and clone. So never trust on any of the social website message for past publication in 1 day, 2 day, pay and publish, like this. Activity of the fake journals. There is no peer review, there is no plagiarism, there is no language check, there is no editor board, there is no only fast publication. They are collecting the high APC, article processing charges. They accept the cut and paste document without any plagiarism check. There is no of experimental work is required. So I think if you have totally waste of your research, your time and money. So always prefer to prepare a quality article, avoid plagiarism, make sure the plagiarism is below 10 or up to 10. Use the professional language, select a good journal for your article, verify the indexing of the journal, check the editorial board and the policy of the journal before submission, and go for peer review journal, avoid the fast publication and the paid publications. So overall, build a strong research profile. So this is all about our today's session. Thank you for your kind attention. And this is my YouTube channel, my research guide name. You may search from the YouTube, and these are the few links you may follow or connect with me. No issue.
Thanks a lot, sir, for your very informative and useful presentation. You have presented in such a way that every points were clearly understood and registered in our mind so quickly. And moreover, your presentation is so flawless and your PPT is soothing to our eyes, and it was so nice to hear you. Thank you so much, sir, for your nice presentation.
Very welcome. So
Now,
now I can
sir,
take the
yeah.
question. Or-
Now I request Professor Anindita Hor to start the interaction session.
Thank you, Shurjatapa. Thank you, Professor Kulwant Singh, being with us. Yes, Shurjatapa already said it is excellent presentation, sir, and
Thank you.
as well as important also, because you said in the detailed manner and how to write research paper, and you just discuss one by one point. So in detail, throughout the in detailed manner. So it is actually enlightened us, and we have gathered knowledge about the skill of writings. So I'm
Okay.
not taking more time. So it is time for discussion, sir. We are
Sure, sure.
move on. Yes, question answer session. Sir, we have a lot of questions, but can I taking 2 or 3 questions at a time, or can I ask one by one?
One
What
by
is
one, no issue.
one by
Or
one?
you may allow to a researcher to ask their question. Otherwise, no issue. I have sufficient time. No issue.
Now it is create some problem.
Okay, okay, okay.
So
That's
okay.
upon your policy. No issue.
Okay, thank you. So for first question from Professor Sujata Padas, if in writing discussion it is found that there are no or limited related works in previous literature, then what will be the strategy to write the discussion portion?
Yeah, very nice. So if we have nothing to, you can say, support our discussion toward any result, then we have to show that it is our new thing, our extraordinary result. This is not exist already, because main motive of any research is to find any extraordinary thing. We have to support in such case when we are doing somewhat advanced. You are suppose you are improving the chat that my results are 90, but earlier researcher there is a 70, so there is a increase in the 20%. But in your case, there is no, you can say, literature available on that. Then these are the few, you can say, new outcome, new discovery, or you can say you are resolving a mystery on the particular topic. So these are the extraordinary result.
Okay, sir. She also asked one questions more. What
Yeah.
should and should not be written in conclusion portion of research article?
Actually, in the conclusion, we have to just conclude. It means we have to just concise message about our outcomes or its impact. Suppose I am writing that I am getting a joint efficiency is 70. So there is no need to write this thing in such a way that I got the efficiency 70. Like it is better to write that the strength of that particular base material is reduced 30% when we use this technique, because 70% means we are not reach up to 100. It is less than 30%. Then the you can say base strength. So you have to just conclude the things. What are the main outcomes?
Okay, sir. Sir, one question from our participant named Tulika Mukhopadhyay. Sir, please let us know about how the result section to be written in case of review article.
In the review article, there is no result section, because we get because in the result section there is different sorry, in the review paper there is different section.
Okay, sir. From one question, Pakya Lakshmi. If I come across a new problem towards the end of my thesis writing, should I address that too, sir?
So just repeat, ma'am.
If I come across a new problem towards the end of my thesis writing, should I address that too, sir?
Yeah, you have to write the such thing in your future, you can say, studies. Recommend few future research on the base of your research. So you have to include this thing in your conclusion section, or you may write a separate section that is the future recommendation or your future scope of research, like this.
Yes, sir. One question from one
Monica.
participant. Sir, which are the ethical issues in case of publications?
Submission of any article in the two journal, it is also a ethical issues. Using any you can say message from the any article is also a ethical issue. Any modification in your outcomes is itself also a ethical issues. Any you can say ghost author cases, gift author cases, these are also there is so many publication issues, because sometime we have not a result up to the mark, so we most of the researchers try to, you can say,
From our participants, how to write or create a graphical abstract from a research article?
yes, very good, this is very good question, because graphical abstract is also one of the important thing when we are submit our article to a good journal. So we have to present graphically or in the pictorial manner about our study. So you may follow the process, you can say you may present a process you have followed in your study to make the, you can say, abstract, or you may show your results in a particular you can say manner to up to conclusion, or you can say up to final different results in a flow chart.
Okay, sir.
Or sometime because graphical abstract is maybe different, it may be different for the different field. If you are doing the experimental work, there is so many things you have to make it pictorial representation. But if your research is databases, then maybe some flow chart is you can say used for the particular presentation of the abstract.
It's somehow related to this poster type poster presentation, graphical abstract.
Yeah,
Sometimes
it may be, it seems similar, but in the graphical representation, it should be just like a, you can say, complete information about our article in a single picture.
Yeah.
Yes.
One question from Deep Chattaraj. Is of any review paper, what are to be included or what are not to be included?
Actually, in the conclusion section for a review article, because in the review article we used to make a summary in the synthesis way of the literature, so we have to just extract the important information about each and every topic as a conclusion. Means suppose you are reviewing a trend of the online selling, so there may be different things in that. Suppose you have considered 10 or 20 papers, so there is 20 inputs, so you have to conclude it may be from beginning to this day. It means we can say earlier this pattern was used, but these days this is the at on the top or in the trend, like this. Means you have to just extract the information only in the single we have to represent in the single sentence on a particular issue or topic.
Okay. Sir, one question more. In the score map, we all know that the first author get more number than the second author. So what are the difference and how much for differences?
Yes, because in API there is, this is the issue in all the
All
organization.
the exactly,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. We are also facing the same issue. So in these cases, you may you can say make a understanding that we will publish. Suppose we are three authors, so we will publish the three paper and make the each author as a corresponding and first author in the different papers. So you will get the two paper in author and the corresponding author have the same point as per UGC. But if you are a supervisor, then if you are on the third position or you are fourth position, it doesn't matter, because there is no when you are suppose you are third author as a supervisor, then you can mention that third author as a supervisor. So this is also considered in most of the best organization, that you are the supervisor, so you will get the last author position or the co-author position.
Sir, you already said the questions, but area, but one participant already asked that where should the researcher publish their articles? Peer-reviewed journal or any available journal?
We
You
have
already
to prefer the peer reviewed
peer-reviewed,
journal.
exactly,
Yeah,
sir.
yes. Because most of the journals show the peer reviewed. In my opinion, I recommend to check the authenticity of their peer review. Because one time at my earlier career in the as a research scholar, I have sent a paper. I make that paper within the 30 minutes, just copy and paste, and there is so many mistakes. But one journal is accepting within 3 days, and they are sending they send me a report, the review report, and they are accepting my paper. So I send a long, you can say, email him
So you
for
must
the
prefer to review journal,
review,
peer-reviewed journal.
and also index and the impact factor also, because we have to check the editorial board also, who are the in the editorial board. Otherwise there may be you can say one laptop, one man, and also there in India, only the one person in and Hyderabad is the hub of this job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay,
So researcher have to aware about this thing.
that's all for today, sir. Thank you once
Okay,
again,
welcome,
sir.
welcome.
And we want to be here more and more time. So if
Okay,
you
thank you.
if you agree, we can get you once more time, sir. So
Definitely, ma'am. I want to present my session tomorrow also, but there was some, you can say, my interview was
yes,
scheduled, so I have to go for that.
yes, sir.
And
We
so
miss it, but still,
uh,
we hope for.
yeah, definitely. Anytime you may, I will accept your call. Anytime when you say, I will definitely. And
Thank you.
for resolve this issue, I am creating my YouTube channel in the last week for resolving this issue. So I am day by day or weekly I am updating my videos on. I have also you can say published 2 or 3 video on the Mendeley and the research writing two paper. And next coming week I will also publish. So most of the candidate, those who are not because at the time limitation is also there. Most of the research scholars have no time on these slots, or
Exactly,
after
sir.
7 most of the persons skip the sessions.
Okay, thank you
Okay,
once
thank you,
again,
Doctor.
sir. So
Yeah.
I would like it is the concluding part. I'd like to request Professor Anindo Basu for giving vote of thanks. Over to Aniruddha.
Thank you. We are at the last leg of the first day of the workshop on academic. An eminent scientist in chemistry told that if you want to be a good scientist, then write at least one page every day. Then good scientist. I, Anindo Basu, on behalf of the thank the first speaker, Professor Amitabh Bandyopadhyay. In his speech, he covered the topics on ethics of writing, several topics like fundamental areas of research, reference manual, necessity of appendices, plagiarism, cover letter, journal publishing mechanism, author and reader behavior, guide to journals, etc. Apart from the speaker, I would also like to thank all participants who patiently listened to the speeches and made the event a successful one. I would also like to thank our principal madam. Without her encouragement, it was not possible to arrange this kind of scholarly event. We are also indebted to the research committee, especially the conveners, Dr. Surjatapa Das and Dr. Sudipto Ghosh. I can say this workshop is the brainchild of them. I would also like to thank the technical hands who hosted the event all along and made it completely hassle-free. At the end, I would also like to request all the participants to attend the second day of the workshop as per scheduled time. So thank you all. See you here on tomorrow. Good night, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Good night, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good night. Good night.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
We need
Dr.
a-
Kulan Singh, for your nice presentation. And
Thanks.
many participants, all participants, I would rather say, they praised your participation, and we also got a lot from you, sir. It was a nice experience to hear you.
It's
Now,
my pleasure, sir.
With the permission of our principal madam, and I would request Surjatapa Das to conclude today's session. Tomorrow you will meet again. Surjatapa, please.
Now I will not bother anymore as the clock is going on and it is about 8:43. And thank you all, Sir Kulwant Singh sir and Amitapa Bandhavadya sir. Thank you, the principal madam and all the participants for
Thank
being
you,
with
ma'am.
us.
Thank you.
And please join us for the tomorrow's session also. After the session, we will give you the feedback form and other formalities. Okay. Thank you so much and good night.
Good night. Good night to all. Amit, our technical assistants, please close the session now.
Star.